हेलो फ्रेंड्स, हम अपनी करंट अफेयर्स की सीरीज आई दृष्टि वाली को कंटिन्यू करते हैं। हमने पॉलिटिकल एंड नेशनल अफेयर्स की एक वीडियो 16 मिनट की थी जो हमने देखी, और उससे आगे कंटिन्यू करते हैं। ये पार्ट 2 है पॉलिटी और नेशनल करंट अफेयर्स। द वक्फ अमेंडमेंट एक्ट 2025। The Waqf Amendment Act will pass by Lok Sabha on April 3, 2025. The lower houses cleared the Waqf Amendment bills after the division of votes: 288 votes in favor and 232 against the bill. The House also passed Mussalman Waqf Reappeal Bill 2024. The upper house cleared the bill with 128 members voting in favor of it, while 95 members voted against the legislation on 4th April 2025. Later, the bill was received assents to President to become Act. About Waqf. Waqf is an Islamic legal concept referring to perpetual endowments made by Muslims for religious, pious, or charitable purpose. It plays a key role in community welfare, especially in education, healthcare, and spiritual life. Inalienabilities: once a property is declared as waqf, it cannot be sold, transferred, gifted, inherited, or mortgaged. The owner is considered to vest in God eternally. Waqif donor: the person who donates the property is known as Waqif. Waqf Board and Regulation. In India, Waqf properties are managed and regulated under the Waqf Act 1995 for central and state Waqf Board. Charitable and religious endowments fall under entry 28 of the concurrent list in 7th schedules of the constitutions. Timeline of Waqf Amendment Bills 2024. On August 9, 2024, both House of Parliament refers the bills to a joint committee for in-depth examination. The committee consists of 31 members and 21 from Lok Sabha and 10 from Rajya Sabha. The Joint Committee on Waqf Amendment Bills submitted its reports to the Lok Sabha speakers on 31st January 2025. Key highlights of Amendment Acts. New identity of the Act. The Waqf Amendment Act has been renamed as Umeed Act, standing for United Waqf Management Empowerment, Efficiency and Development Act. Inclusive Governance Framework. The Act now allows for the inclusion of non-Muslim representatives in both central and state Waqf Board to foster greater inclusivity and representation. Removal of Waqf by users provisions. The Waqf by user clause, which permitted properties to be designated as a Waqf based on the long-term religious use, has been removed. Abolition of Section 40. The amendment removes Section 40 of the original Act, which had previously granted Waqf boards unilateral power to declare any properties as a Waqf. Clear distinction between trust and Waqfs. The Act established that trust created by Muslims, whether before or after the Act, do not fall Waqf law if they are governed by other public charitable regulation. Eligibility. Conditions for property dedications. Only practicing Muslims for at least 5 years will be eligible to declare dedicated property as Waqf, reverting to pre-2013 provision. Safeguard inheritance rights. The acts ensure that inheritance rights of women and children are protected before a property is declared Waqf. Special safeguard and provides for widows, divorced women and orphans. Legal charity on dispute. The Limitations Act 1963 is now applicable to Waqf properties from the dates the amendments comes into force, helping reduce long-term pending legal cases. Protection of tribals and scheduled areas. The Act explicitly prohibits Waqf creation on lands protected under Schedules 4 and 6 of the Constitutions, thereby safeguarding tribal land rights. Waqf tribunal composition. While the original draft proposed reducing the tribunal size, the revised act retains the three members Waqf tribunal based on joint parliamentary committee recommendation. Security of government's land claims. Any claims that government's land or property is Waqf will now undergo investigations by an officer senior to a collector, ensuring more rigorous review. New disputes resolution mechanism in Waqf versus government land disputes. A senior government official will now determine ownerships, replacing the existing Waqf tribunal authorities. Enhanced legal resources. The Act introduced provision for appeals to high courts against decisions made by Waqf tribunals, addressing earlier concern about limited revisional powers, financial contribution and flexibilities. The mandatory contribution of Waqf institutions to the Waqf board has been reduced from 7% to 5%, enabling greater allocations of funds toward charitable purpose. Audits for income oversight. Waqf institutions with an annual incomes exceeding rupees 1 lakh must now undergo government mandate audits to ensure financial accountability. Digital assets as accountability. Digital assets as a fundamental rights. In landmark judgment on April 30, 2025, the Supreme Court of India significantly expanded the interpretation of Article 21 on the Constitution, declaring the right to digital access is intrinsic components of the right of life and personal liberty. The judgment was authored by Justice M. Mahadevan with Justice J.B. Pardiwala on the bench. The judgments oriented from two significant public investigation litigations, Pragya Prashun versus Union of India to 2024 and Amar Jain versus Union of India 2025. Digital access as a fundamental right. The Supreme Court emphasized that in the modern era, access to essential services like governance, education, healthcare, and economic opportunities is increasing mediated through digital performance platforms. Therefore, the right to life under the Article 21 must be reinterpreted to include the rights to digital access. Right includes under Article 21 judicial interpretations. Right, right to livelihood. Landmark case Ogla Tellis versus Bombay Municipal Corporation. Right to clean environment Subhas Kumar versus State of Bihar. Right to education Mohini Jain versus State of Karnataka. Right to privacy Justice K.S. Puttaswamy versus Union of India. Right to die with dignity common cause versus Union of India. Caste enumerations in upcoming census. Recently, on April 30, 2025, the Cabinet Committee on Political Affairs, chaired by Prime Minister of India, has decided to include caste enumeration in the upcoming census exercise, marking a significant shift in India's approach to demographic data collections. Historical context of caste data. The last comprehensive caste data collections in India was conducted during the 1931 census. Although caste information was also collected in the 1941 census, it was not published due to impact of World War II. Since 1951, India's census has consistently included data in scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. However, caste data and other backward classes have been mostly absent. The lack of detailed caste data has led uncertain estimate of OBC's population in India. The The Mandal Commission 1979 estimate the OBC population is 52%. In 2011, Socio-economics Caste Census aims to collect comprehensive caste data for better welfare targeting. However, much of its caste-specific data remains unpublished, limiting its impact on policy formulations. Census around. The Union Ministries of Home Affairs announced that India has conducted the next population census in two phases, with counting to be completed by 1st March 2027, the first such exercise since 2011. After 2011 census was due in 2020 to 2021 but delayed due to COVID pandemic. Notifications of population census 2027 will be published in the official gazette as per section 3 of the Census Act 1948. The census will be conducted in two phases. Phase first, house listings, details of all the buildings, permanent or temporary, are noted with their types, amenities and assets. Phase 2, population enumeration, details information on each individuals residing in countries, Indian nationals or otherwise noted along with their caste. Reference, specific points of times for which the data on population is collected. For census 2027, for the Union Territory of Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, October 1st, 2026. Rest of India's March 1st, 2027. March 2027 is only reference date. The field census will conduct in 2026 to 27 and the findings will be released later. UNESCO Memory of World's Register. On April 17, 2025, the manuscripts of Bhagavad Gita and Bharata Natya Shastra were added to the prestigious UNESCO Memory of World's Registers, making the major global recognition of India's rich culture and intellectual legacy. They were amongst 74 new documentary heritage collections which were selected this year. With these additions, the total numbers of entries in the memory of the World's Register has now reached 570. About the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita was sacred philosophical dialogues embedded in the Bhimsparva chapters 23 to 40 of the Indian epic Mahabharata, comprising 7 verses and 18th chapter is the set on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, featuring a conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. About the Natya Shastra. The Natya Shastra attributed to sage Bharat Muni is an ancient treatise of performing arts believed to have been compiled around the 2nd century BC. The manuscript is preserved at Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute in India. About the memory of the World Register. It was launched in 1992. The register has been updated biennially since 1997, with exceptions between 2017 and 2023. UNESCO Memory of the World's Register aims to preserve and promote valuable historical documents and manuscripts of global importance. India's contribution of the UNESCO Memories of World Heritage. India has made 14 submissions to register after inclusion of Bhagavad Gita and Natya Shastra, including 2 joint entries with other nations. India's entries span ancient sculpture, philosophical works, and modern political achievements. Rig Vedas added in 2007. Work in Savage philosophy. Abhinava Gupta added in 2023. Archives of the first non-aligned movements name summits Belgrade in 1961 added in 2023. Archives of the Dutch East India Companies added. Delhi Legislative Assembly's election 2022. Rekha Gupta took oath of the 9th Chief Ministers of the National Capital Territory, Delhi, on February 20, 2025. Along with her 6 cabinet ministers also took oath. Parvez Singh Burma took oath Deputy Chief Minister. She is the 4th Chief Minister of Delhi. She has become the 4th Chief Minister of Delhi. Earlier, Women's Chief Minister of served Sushma Swaraj 12 October 1998 to 3 December 1988. Sheila Dikshit 13 December 1998 to 28 December 213. Atisha Marlan 21st September 2024 to 19 February 2025. Atisha Marlan became the leader of oppositions in the Legislative Assembly of Delhi. The Delhi Legislative Assembly's election 2025 were held in Delhi on 5 February 2025 to elect all 70 members of the Delhi Legislative Assembly. The counting of votes and declaration of results took place on February 8, 2025. Voting. Delhi 2025 elections saw a voters turnout is 60.54% with over 94 lakh people casting their votes. Of the total registered women's voters in the cities, 72.37 lakh and 60.92 voters as compared to 60.21% of men. Result: the BJP won 48 seats, securing a majority in the 70 member of the assembly. Delhi Assembly marking the first victory in the capital since 1998. AAP, which had won 62 seats in 2020, saw a dramatic falls to 22 seats. For the third consecutive elections, the Congress party failed to win a single seat, securing only 6.34% of votes share. Assembly elections of Haryana and Jammu Kashmir on 16 October 2024. National Conference Vice President Umar Abdullah sworn in Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister and Surinder Kumar Chaudhary from the Jammu regions as Deputy Chief Minister. Legislative Assembly elections were held in Jammu and Kashmir from 18 September to 1st October 2024 in 3 phases to elect 90 members of Jammu and Kashmir's legislature. The results of the elections were announced on 8 October 2024. The India Alliance, consisting of Jammu and Kashmir National Conference, the Indian National Congress and other won a majority of seats in the election. They won 49 of the 90 seats, with JKNC 42 seats, winning the highest number of seats. Bharatiya Janata Party won 29 seats and largest share of popular votes. Haryana. Naib Singh Saini sworn in the Chief Minister of Haryana on October 17, 2024 in Panchkula. Bharatiya Janata Party successfully retained power in the recent assembly election. On 5th October 2024, the votes were casted of Haryana Assembly elections 67.9. Sirsa districts recorded the highest turnout, 75.36%. In the result, BJP secured a majority by winning 48 seats, marking their third consecutive terms in the state. The Indian National Congress won 37 seats, emerged as the principal opposition party. सो गाइस लगभग 18 मिनट्स की ये वीडियो हो गई है. अब नेक्स्ट वीडियो में करेंगे. सो स्टे ट्यून्स. प्लीज़ लाइक सब्सक्राइब दिस चैनल्स.